It is 6:30 and as Mayor Pro Tem, I call the meeting to order. Mr. Attorney, do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir. 3 members of the council constitute a quorum, and the meeting was called by 3 members of the council pursuant to your authority as contained in section 2-10, subsection B of the charter of the city of Temple. So the meeting is duly constituted and held by you.
All right. Do I hear a motion that we approve the published agenda for this day's city council meeting?
Motion to approve agenda.
Give a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. It is unanimous. All right, new business. Number 1. Consider approving a request to be made to the Carroll County Board of Elections that said board take action to investigate and conduct, if necessary, a challenge regarding the qualifications of Gerald Powell to run for the office of mayor and to have his name placed on the ballot on November 7, 2017 City of Temple municipal election pursuant to OCGA 21-2-6 and related provisions of Georgia law. Mr. McCray.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. For purposes of those who are here in connection with this meeting, I think it would be good if I provided some procedural background of why we're here tonight before there's any vote to consider the letter we received from the Carroll County Board of Elections. On October 4, City Clerk Kristen Etheridge received documents concerning the candidate Gerald Powell and his qualifications to be elected to qualify and to be a candidate for a position on the ballot as mayor of the city of Temple. Those documents show that Gerald Lee Powell was convicted of felony sale of marijuana on October 21, 1992. The felony sale of marijuana is a crime involving moral turpitude, which would mean he would be ineligible to hold the office of mayor unless his rights were restored under the provisions of Georgia Code Annotated 45-2-1. When we received this information, we sent it to Mr. Powell's attorney, asking him to review it and to determine if it was the wrong Gerald Lee Powell or if this was not true, or to provide any other information before we got to the point where we are tonight. We did not receive any comment from his then lawyer at that time. We then requested from the Board of Pardons and Paroles an affidavit with regard to whether his rights had been restored that is required under the Georgia Code section in order for him to qualify for the position of a candidate for mayor. By affidavit of October 10, 2017, the Board of Pardons and Paroles indicated his rights had not been restored. As attorneys for the city of Temple, it is our position that any time any matter comes before the city that is a concern with regard to any candidate, I want to repeat that, any candidate which has nothing whatsoever to do with ethnicity or their background or any constitutional privilege, we're required to review that. We were required to review that in this case. It had nothing to do with any members of the council who are here, nor the mayor or other members of the council who are not here. This was done by our office. And we are of the opinion he is not qualified to be eligible for that office, as I indicated, pursuant to the provisions of Georgia Code Annotated 21-2-8, which requires both that his felony conviction be more than 10 years old, which it is, and secondly, that his rights be restored, which they have not been. There is a difference in the past challenge. It was a similar issue, but the difference is that challenge was done during a time when an elector, and that is someone who is a citizen, may file a challenge with regard to the qualifications of a candidate, either for the grounds that I just mentioned, or residency requirements, or other reasons they are not qualified to hold office. That challenge by Mr. Atkins was going forward for a hearing, and the day before the hearing, the candidate withdrew. The present challenge is after the date by which a candidate could be challenged by another citizen. As such, that challenge must be accomplished by the election superintendent. There was a question raised, for those of you who may have been here, by the mayor as to whether the election superintendent of Carroll County, through the Board of Elections of Carroll County, should handle the challenge rather than the city. Because the prior challenge was to the city of Temple and directed to the city clerk, and was during the time of the qualifying challenge period, it was our position that the challenge should be handled by the city clerk. This is a different situation in that it is after that period of time, as I indicated. We contacted the Board of Elections, and they were given the information I've shared tonight, and the Secretary of State was also given that information. And we asked directions from the Secretary of State as to who should conduct the challenge. The Secretary of State indicated either party could. There is an intergovernmental agreement that we discussed at the meeting concerning the other candidate that says in connection with qualifying matters it could be done by the city or it could be done by the Carroll County Board of Elections by request of the city. The Board of Elections met last Friday and sent a letter which is in your packet. And that letter provides an pertinent part on page 2 from the attorney for the Board of Elections that if the city wishes the Carroll County Board of Elections to conduct the challenge, quote, the express request to do so by the city should be made. After we received that notification, it was our position, in order to protect the clerk, because she is not an election superintendent, there became some issues and discussions about Kristen's role before, and to get an independent review outside the city of Temple that didn't involve any candidate for public office in the city of Temple or any people in the city of Temple making that decision, that the Carroll County Board of Elections should do it. In their letter, they're asking us to provide them appropriate authorization to accomplish that. We provided this information to the mayor and council. The three of you chose to call a special meeting for this purpose. It's our advice as the lawyers for the city of Temple that you should pass a motion to challenge the qualifications of Mr. Powell for the position of mayor. I'll answer questions of the mayor and council.
Any questions?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Any questions? Question?
Motion.
Make a motion.
I'm prepared to offer a motion to make a request to the Carroll County Board of Elections that said board take action to investigate and conduct, if necessary, a challenge regarding the qualifications of Gerald Powell to run for the office of mayor. That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Carries 3-0. With nothing further, do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We adjourn.